Hello, everyone. Welcome to another discussion of Descending Stories. And we are covering, if you're reading the manga, volumes 5 and 6. And if you are watching the anime, you are on what are you guys on?
Episode 3 of season 2.
Episode
Yeah,
3 of season 2. Okay. So
how
that
far
is
is
where
it?
we are discussing up to today. And of course, here I have with me Alan from the Library of Alexandria and Merphy Napier. So, what do you guys think of where we are now? General thoughts.
Who do you want to answer first?
Go for it.
Go for it.
If I was not watching this with y'all, I wouldn't watch anymore.
I
Oh
Um,
said the same thing.
no!
I,
Oh
I said the
no!
same thing.
the problem is I don't care anymore. I think there were some odd choices in this, and I think that now that we're 10 years, like we didn't see it at 10 years, so I didn't have time to care about any of the people that are currently in it, like I did Sukuroku and Bone. Um, so I'm just like I don't have any connection. There's no relationships. Like Kiku is the distant master who's barely in it, and I like Yotaro, but I mean, okay, like I like him. Okay, boom. And it's not that it's bad. I don't think it's bad. I just have so little time that after that first season, especially after,
The way it ended.
yeah, I would probably not spend my time watching this as opposed to doing other things, if not for you guys. Because not like it's bad. It's just that I'm no longer invested really in um what's happening. Like everything that I liked about that first season is just kind of not there. And it's barely about Rakugo anymore. Um,
Really?
and then of course,
You guys should have read the manga. That's the problem.
maybe I'm eager to hear your thoughts, but I'm going to go ahead and say that. Wait, we're general talking. Okay, I'll wait.
Are we spoilering or are we general talking?
Well, I think you can spoil if you want.
Okay, well, what? Like what? Like
Turned into a soap opera.
no, like like what a weird out of the blue, unearned, anticlimactic. Like, this isn't about these people. This is clearly about Rakugo because it was about these people. What? What? Like, one meeting and then I'm gonna push you off the balcony, Sukuroku. No, I jump off. Everybody's dead. Oh, okay.
It was pretty anticlimactic because the buildup was, oh, did Bond kill him or not? Was it a murder suicide? Was it
Yeah,
this? Was it that? Like you have all these mysteries, and it was like, whoops, we fell.
And I
And
still don't understand how Konatsu is literally says, I don't care what it is, it's murder. How I don't understand her logical leaps on how she got from how they died to it's Bones' fault. Like,
yeah, Philip, do you have any insight on that? Because I don't think I understand that logical leap. Like, I understand Bond saying, yes, it is my fault. You're right, because, survivor's guilt. But I don't understand her perspective either.
so first of all, in the manga, it is just as much an anticlimax
okay.
as it appears to have been for you guys in the anime. It was just kind of a blink and you miss it scene, and it was like,
Oh, it
what?
was a
That's
decently
it.
long scene in the anime.
Well, my biggest thing is that we don't ever deal. We are never shown him dealing with the murder, with the death of either of them. It just
Yeah.
moves on all of
Right.
a sudden modern day. I'm like, what?
That's in the
We're
manga
not
too. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when we are modern day, we keep time skipping over and over and over again. So it's like, okay, baby's baby, no baby's toddler, no
We're in the
baby.
late 80s, Philip. They're playing Game Boys. We're in the late
We're in the
80s.
late 80s now. Okay. Yeah.
Those kids are playing Game Boys.
All
And
right.
I don't know if you saw the preview to the next episode, Alan, but next episode, kid looks 7. So
Yeah.
like we're just jumping.
Yes, because Yotaro has studied 10 years now. So when we first met him, it was late 70s, and now it's late
Yeah, now
80s.
it's late 80s.
That makes sense. That makes sense. But yeah, I would say that the big moment when we get the big reveal about how they died and all this double suicide and that did come up kind of because
I Yes.
Miyokichi wanted to do double suicide, but not with Roku, but with what's his name,
Oh.
Bon, or whatever we're calling him. And he was like, no, not really. No, it's okay. And, I mean, her whole role in this, I have to say, was pretty flat and disappointing. I would say, I'm talking about Miyokichi right now.
Yeah.
I didn't really, there was no like, oh, it was a very much a disappointment in terms of how the flashback part of this whole thing ended. I mean, traumatic enough, I guess, for sure, for Bon and for Konatsu,
Yeah,
but
for
I
Natsu
don't
for sure.
I don't really see any logical way that Konatsu can be blaming Yakumo the Eighth for the death.
Especially since he was hanging on for dear life. Like he
Yeah,
tried so hard to
he was
save them.
trying. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is weird. Even if it were a situation like you could have saved him, but you didn't, or something like that, then I could respect that perspective. And I mean, she was a child when it happened, and she's grown up holding this grudge, so who knows how she might have embellished in her mind. So it's not to say that this couldn't happen, it's just from a storytelling perspective, as the reader, it's not, or watcher, it's not the most satisfying, like, reveal that we've been waiting for this moment, and it's just like, oh, yeah, okay. Along with that, present timeline, Alan, you touched on this. It's, we didn't have enough time to really build up much investment. And now it's like, okay, Konatsu's pregnant. Who did it? Like, who's the dad?
That's
I
the
don't care.
new big mystery. Oh, who did it? Yeah.
It's
I don't
wait,
care.
y'all know, right? You watched it, right?
No,
Yeah,
I don't
it's
think it
the
is though. You're thinking it's the leader that they
It's the mob
confronted.
it's
boss.
the
I don't
mob
think it's
boss
him.
guy.
Yeah, it is. It's the mob boss.
I
I
don't think it is.
mean, in the manga at least, it seems really clear that it's the mob boss guy.
Okay, so to me it seemed like it built it up so that we would believe that, but then we
Oh,
left still
I
kind of
think I
nebulous.
think you want the story to be more to have more layers than it actually is going to have, Murphy. Because remember, we did this same thing with how Miyakichi was gonna was gonna end up. I think I think I think we're
You're
wanting
right, we
to
did.
be better to be more complex than it's actually going to be.
You
so
know what?
I'll tell
You
you
might
why
be
I think
right.
it's fairly, because
Go for it.
for one, Miyokichi, um, says afterwards to Yotaro, I did it because I wanted to do it. He didn't have anything. He was just the means by which I did this. I wanted to do it.
Mhm.
She also apologizes to the old woman who was friends with her mother, and she's like, and she says, "Don't say it. It's all right." Because that old lady was girlfriends with the mob boss dude, and or his mistress or whatever. So she was kind of, that was her territory, so to speak, I guess. And she was kind of apologizing for, having this fling. And then, but the older woman was just like, whatever, it's over, and let's just focus on our friendship.
Okay.
It felt like she was essentially admitting,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay. So that's what threw me off is that she didn't admit. Like she had every opportunity to say,
yeah.
okay, yeah, he's the dad, what of it? And I mean, like they weren't together at the time, so she could just be like, whatever, you want to be the dad, you're the dad, who cares who the bio dad is? Like, she could have that conversation, but she still seemed to not actually be fessing up. So I was waiting for the actual twist, but I guess I'm
Being stubborn.
And
And
so
I think
psychologically, do you think that she was essentially, I'm talking about Konatsu, in getting pregnant and wanting to have a kid, was she in some way, shape, or form trying to relive her relationship with her father? And it felt like that, and on some level, this has something to do with her father. Partly because the mafia dude kind of looks like her dad. I mean, it has something to do with that relationship, I think. But it also has something to do with the rakugo, or rakugo, and that she wants to continue the legacy of Roku, and
yeah,
I think this
I
kid is her kind of like, you're going to keep my father alive kind of thing.
right. I
Yeah.
don't know how significant bloodline is or was in Japan at that point in time, but I know that, historically, in many cases, a bloodline dying was a big deal. and you do what you can to preserve the bloodline. So I just kind of took it as that, as just being like, I respect my father too much to let his bloodline die with me.
Huh.
To touch back on Konatsu's vengeance toward Kiku, I think it's as simple as
Wait. You mean Miyokichi's vengeance, or
no, sorry, Konatsu's blood feud with blaming
okay.
blaming Bone
Bond.
for her dad's death.
Gotcha.
I think it's as simple. I don't agree with it, and I don't understand how she's making this leap, but I think it's as simple as if he had not come to visit them, they would still be alive. Because because then Sukeroku would never have gotten back into Rakugo or gotten back into them and been there at that time. And then if he wasn't there, her mom would never have confronted Bone, which means that Sukeroku wouldn't have like come in and done that thing. I think it's that, because she admits it. She's like, you still murdered them. I don't care if it was an accident. That's a line in the anime. She's like, you murdered them. I don't care if it's an accident. It's like, it's an accident. So I think she just blames Bone for having ever entered their lives.
You probably have that right.
I don't really, that's a whole lot of steps.
That makes the most sense, I guess.
Yeah.
There's nothing else that makes sense. Like there's no other reason. But I don't know about what's going on with Konatsu. I think it's the mob boss. I don't know why I am supposed to have an opinion about any of this. I will say two positive things. I really like the second season opening theme.
Yeah.
It's way better than the first season. And two, I love Yotaro's voice actor. I love his voice actor. It's so good. I just love the way he's so filled with expression.
He is, especially when he's doing Rakugo. It's like over the top.
Yeah. Christine actually commented on it. Didn't you make fun of it, honey?
Yeah, I had to try it out.
He did something, so she tried it out. It's like, no. Like when he saw someone he knew, he went, oh, which is just so fun.
It is, yes.
So Yotaro is infinitely watchable. I just don't know what's happening currently. He needs to find his own Rakugo.
That's the key thing, I think, right there, is that, and it's a little bit of rinse and repeat, because isn't that kind of what Bon was doing before, and like Roku was doing before, and that's been the sort of you have to find your own Rakugo, you have to find your own inner artist, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It seems like we're doing it again.
The other thing is Bone is threatening to take Rakugo with him. When I die, I'm taking it with me. Like, what? What is he saying? Like, what does that mean? Does it say something in the manga? Like, does it make more sense in the manga? You know what I'm talking about?
I do, and it seems like he feels like the art is dying, and that he's the last great Rakugo artist. And when he goes, all that he had with him is going with him, and he hasn't passed it on to anyone,
But he knows that Sukeroku got expelled for getting in an argument with the old Yakumo about trying to preserve Rakugo by letting it change with the times. And he's just going to be like, I guess I'm just going to be that exact same way. Really? That's what Bone's going to do? He's not going to let Sukeroku second generation try to fix it?
So Shin wanted to change Rakugo, and right. But Bon didn't. He wanted to keep traditional. So I reckon now that this next generation is also trying to create new stories and everything, he's like, no, like he's just continuing to say the traditionalist way is the only way, so it dies.
That's stupid.
I guess it's kind of like wanting the death of something before wanting the bastardization of something, which is how he views Rakugo changing.
I understand that.
But he's also very passive about a lot of things.
He's passive about everything.
He's like, all right, do what you want,
Old Bone sucks. Like, Old Bone sucks.
I gotta say, there was one moment
wasn't not passive.
There was one moment that I thought was quite beautiful between him and Konatsu after she's
when she's having a nightmare.
Yeah, and he comes to her and he strokes her hair and he tells her the story, and he's being a father, and That was beautiful. I thought that was a very
Yeah,
good.
recalling the story that he told her when she was growing up to help her fall asleep showed that they actually, despite the tension, they actually have had some bonding and
Well, in the anime, it flashes to her as a little kid with Sukeroku telling her the story, like rubbing her head. So he's becoming Sukeroku
Right.
in that moment. And then we see it again when he performs. He's like, "Hey, Yotaro,
Yeah.
why don't you need to, this one will showcase your talents. You need to memorize this one." And then he does it, but he does it like Sukeroku. He does Sukeroku's old version of it.
Which is also the one that Sukeroku did on the night that he died. And
Oh, I didn't
he
catch
died.
that. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
that's cool. I didn't catch that. That's awesome.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
Philip knows. Philip's got it.
It's
Also,
the reader. The
he has
reader's
the
more
reader.
intelligent
He
than
has
the
the words
watcher.
on the page. That I'm not rewinding the thing to try to find it. He can just be like, "Oh, wait, was that the one?" And he can just go pick up the other volume and okay, and then go back.
I will say, what's the guy's name? The one that wants to write his own rakugo.
The new one or the old
Yeah,
one?
the new one.
The
Yotaro.
new guy. That it took me forever, like until he told me that's the guy that Bone was like, "I am not training you." The guy with the hat, who looks.
The writer guy. Yeah.
The sponsor, the one that's like.
Oh no, the one that the one that I
Yotaro.
should know the name of.
Yotaro.
Yotaro? Is that his
Yotaro.
name?
Yeah.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
one that is
Yes.
bombing.
The Yakuza one. Yes.
Okay, so I also really appreciated that he's a really doting father. I mean,
Yeah.
that's gotta be really, really nice for Konatsu to actually have someone in her life. Like she had resigned herself that she was going to be a single parent. That was what she witnessed. That was what she experienced. That was going to be her life. And then this guy basically forces his way into her life and can like wears her down. But then he ends up being a doting partner and a doting father. And that has to be, I mean, even though she's kind of trained herself not to show any kind of appreciation or emotion, that has to be valuable to her.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
doesn't force any kind of physical relationship.
Right.
No, none with he keeps calling her sis, actually.
That's
and-
so
does.
weird. Stop doing that, Yotaro. Stop.
I think that's a translation thing though, right? Like
He's-
isn't calling someone sis if you're working together or in that kind of relationship that they've had, isn't that pretty common?
I mean, I don't know.
Where?
Is he saying
Japan?
Onisan? Like, I don't know what he's saying.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't either. Yeah,
I
in
don't-
Japan.
I forgot to listen for the word he's saying.
I don't know. I just know that I've had translation issues before where I thought people were siblings that aren't because they call each other sis or bro. And it's just like
I just thought that he was calling her sis because they grew up together. Because he was calling her sis before they got married. Like,
Yeah.
it's just now he's still doing it, and so
well,
it's
they were
weird.
living together, so they were kind of like a found family before he
Right.
fell for her.
Yeah.
So I think that's
Yeah.
that's the way I took it.
Yotaro's doting nature and completely like guileless personality is like I like that.
I
I
do
do too.
He's
Yeah.
completely sincere,
Yeah.
completely just like, hey, and he takes a stand and he's like, look, I'm gonna help you raise this baby. And
Mhm.
also, mafia dude, you're a chucklehead, chumbawamba, dumb, stupid face, ugly, big brute, prattle on, ramble, chumba buns, buzzing.
I don't even know what this insult means, but
all
you
the
are it.
stuff, and you're gonna stay away. Don't you ever come for that kid.
Yeah.
I am so sorry. Respectfully, I say that.
that
That
was a
was
good
such a good
scene.
scene.
I like
was-
that scene. Yeah.
It
a
was
good
so good. And I
There
love
are-
that everybody around was like, are you an idiot? You're
You're going
going
to
to
be killed.
die.
Yeah. There were a lot of individual, like really good individual scenes
Yeah.
in this section. But like I don't like it just doesn't feel I don't feel compelled with the continuous flow. Like I'm
Yeah.
liking the vignettes, but like as a continuous narrative, it
Uh-huh.
no longer like I'm no longer, there with it like I was in the flashback.
Yep,
just-
that's exactly how I feel. It feels more directionless than season one did. Season one, we were building to something.
Yeah, what
That
do we
something
do?
ended up being a bit anticlimactic, but it was building to something. We had amazing character interactions. We had really great chemistry between the characters. And in this one, it's like, we're doing life. We're doing what we're doing. We're time skipping. We're
And
hanging out over here.
The mob is there, like the Yakuza with
Yeah, it
Mike, I guess.
it feels a little bit more unfocused.
Yeah.
I also don't know where it's going because we have 4 more
Yeah.
volumes after this, and it ends like on like a kind of like I said, I feel like, Konatsu has, you don't exactly know who she's talking to here either. She says, you hear that, Shin-chan, and that she's talking to her kid. That's daddy's rakugo. And does she mean as in
She means the guy who stepped in to be
as
the
in
dad.
Yotaro?
Yeah.
Or does she mean her father? Because, I think it could, at least I feel like it's deliberately ambiguous here.
It is because he's practicing Sukaroku's routine.
Right.
So
Right.
it works both ways. I didn't catch that either, Murphy.
Right.
Philip just brought that to my attention. That makes sense.
You look good, Christine.
Christina,
Yes.
Murphy's
You look good.
Oh, thank you. Hi.
You were out of focus.
That's okay.
It's okay. I saw
Yeah.
the baby bump and it was cute,
Doesn't
so I
care.
had to comment.
Yeah, that's the exact scene that the anime ends in.
Okay, good. So where does it go from here? It seems like, okay, we resolved that. And
We have 9 more episodes. Like,
yeah.
to do what?
To do what?
Like, to do what?
I've been told that the ending is very satisfying, so I expect it to come together. It's just the end of season 1 and beginning of season 2 were some of the flattest episodes for me.
Same. I agree. I concur with
I was interested in the whole one element, at least, of Yotaro's trying to find his rakugo. And that element is he's been told by a couple people, but notably by Yakumo the Eighth, you're a great, lovable person. You're like a little sponge. You're absorbing these styles. And your problem and with your life and also with your rakugo is you're not self-interested enough. I don't know if that came across in the anime or not, but the whole thing about him lacking self-interest and lacking his own kind of sense of self and his own identity. And he's like, that's where you need to go. And that's why he teaches him that particular bit, the one that Sukeroku did on his last night,
Yeah.
He says in Okori, excuse me, which by the way is a real rakugo routine, I guess. Inokori will teach you self-interest. Saheiji is the perfect character to bring it out. Learn how to play different parts. Put yourself into it. And this is something I love about just like the creative process. Any artistic endeavor, writing or art or what have you, you and we talked about this a little bit before, you tend to imitate the people that you admire. And then gradually, if you work at it, you find your own voice, So I guess I'm feeling invested enough to want to know, okay, we've gotten hints. I think that in that scene when he's confronting the mob boss, that's when his voice comes out. That's his rakugo voice right there when he was coming up with all those insults that Alan was invoking a moment ago. That's his rakugo voice. He found it in that confrontation. So I want to see where that goes. But
Did you have it in the manga? Did you have the scene in the boat where he recited the insults and someone asked him, what does that mean? And he's like, I don't know. I just recite it when I'm frustrated.
yeah.
You did? Okay.
I was looking up the scene that you were talking about, Philip, when he tells him to do that play, because I'm like, he doesn't say what you said he says. I was just looking to see the translation. What did you say he says? He says it's a good that particular one is a good one for what?
For finding yourself, for teaching you self-interest.
Okay. Yeah, this just says it's a good one for showing who you are, which is the same thing.
Okay.
But I was like, it doesn't say self-interest in the anime, so I was trying to see what it actually said. Anime.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's been on display as he's listened to other people's recordings and tried to mimic other people's style. And that's held him back a lot. And we watched him bomb twice in this section. So we're seeing him just, he's supposed to be the main event and he's failing.
What about his friend who also bombs, like the student who sucks and knows he sucks? The little wild-haired kid. They have that 2-man show and he opens for him and he comes in, he's just like, I'm so sorry, because he's bad. You know what I'm talking about? Like his little friend. He used to be, I guess he used to study with Yotaro and like at the house with the master and whatever, and he left because he was bad. Y'all remember that character? Who cares? Whatever.
He's barely in here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's only in like 2 scenes in the other one.
I know who you're talking about.
I was like, this poor child.
Yeah.
I got him confused with with the bankroll guy, the sponsor guy for a minute. That's
Yeah,
why.
I can see that confusion. What do you think he's actually up to, the bankroll guy? Now, we know that he approached Yakumo the Eighth at one point when he was much younger, and Yakumo says, "Go away,"
Go
essentially.
home. Yeah.
Go home. He became, in the manga at least, he became a great writer.
Yeah, he is
So
here too.
he went to a different medium
He
and
works in
found
TV a lot.
success. Yeah. So what's his motive there? He seems to be kind of
He's the father.
well, I don't know about that, but he's listening in a lot and he's pretending not to at times. It's like he wants to scoop. It's like for him, this is a kind of a story, and he wants to tell this story almost. I get the sense that he's got some other motives other than just trying to be helpful,
True.
Yeah.
That's
I
probably
didn't
true.
take much note of him, but
I agree.
good observation.
I don't know why he's also the one that's like, hey, so I have to let you go because of the Yakuza tie. Because the sponsors are getting mad, but then he was still hanging around. I don't understand that guy, Philip. So
Yeah.
your insight is as good as.
Does he
There's the
own
other-
that Rakugo place?
No, he just has a lot of connections that he keeps
His
using, I
connections.
thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's also the critic guy with the curly hair.
Oh, that dude.
Who
Yeah.
comes with the essentially like, I know about your gangster background, and and if you
Is he the one
screw
that
up,
broke that story? Is he the one that broke that story? Is he the one that broke the story?
yeah, I guess. I mean,
I think it's implied because they see him, they get really mad at him, right? Like,
right.
You're
so,
talking about when he's performing and they start shouting?
no, I'm talking about the one guy that he shows up and they're like, "Oh, Amano," or whatever his name is, and they yell at him, and he's like, "Oh, well, you're a member of the Yakuza," and he's like, "I know all about Rakugo," and
Yeah.
doing that stupid guy.
That stupid guy.
He's
Yeah.
dumb. He's dumb too. I don't care about him.
Yeah.
I don't even know his
I think
name.
I think there's a lot of stuff that's just kind of seeds at this point that's going to get built
Yeah.
on. There's
I feel like
enough
that too.
content left that it better.
I can't wait for them to grow into anticlimactic flowers.
Oh no.
Yeah. So it sounds like the consensus here is a lot of stuff got wrapped up in a way that we aren't entirely satisfied with, and we aren't really sure where it's going, but we're hoping that it's going to be better.
Correct.
Yeah. It's a weaker
Mid-
section of the
mid-sending
story.
story.
What's that?
I said mid-sending stories currently. That's last.
Mid-sending.
Mid-sending stories.
Mid-sentence.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a weaker part of the story for me. But I mean, it started high, so here's hoping it'll end high.
Well, I've even heard that the ending is controversial.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That means it's bad, and then all the people who can't let you think it's bad come in to like defend it to tell you why it's good. No, you just didn't understand it. And it's like, no, I understood it. It just sucks. Like that's what I'm calling right now. You heard it. First episode of season 2, right here. First little talk of season.
We understand it. It
I
just
called
sucks.
it. It's not gonna be good, and people are gonna come at me and tell me why I'm wrong.
Well, all three of us apparently,
But,
because we seem
honey-
to be of the same mind.
Yeah, this was even from the manga perspective, it was less interesting this time around. And for me, it began with that whole anticlimactic moment of the death of
So
Sukeroku and Miyokichi. And then it never really recovered after that. But hopefully it's building a little something here, and it'll finish stronger on the last 4 volumes because I think there's some things being set up there.
Yeah. I did really feel for Kotetsu, is that her name?
Konatsu.
Konatsu. I really felt for Konatsu in the aftermath of the death when she was, having to move and change who her caregiver was and all that. And he was very cold to her. Bon was very cold to her when he was like, deal with it,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't think he's equipped to be a great father.
Yeah.
But he has his moments that make me feel more affectionate toward him and more, I feel yeah,
like
I
when she
understand.
pulled him down while she was sleeping and he recited that story to her. That was a really sweet
Yeah.
fatherly moment.
Yeah, yeah, that was really beautiful, I thought. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that ends and how he goes. And there even like there's a moment when he says to her, "You don't hate me enough, you know. So what about you're killing me? I'm waiting, you know." And
Yeah, yeah,
like,
that's true.
from my perspective, you don't hate me enough, you know. So he
Yeah,
wants to
wow.
die almost, and he's pretty depressed.
He's very depressed. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a story of a lot of very imperfect people working their way through life.
Yeah. Yeah, that is fair to say, which, you know, I think there's some value in that. But
Oh yeah.
I do hope it gets a little more back to what I felt in the opening, really the first 4 volumes I loved. And okay, this is definitely a lull here in 5 and 6. But
Did you say we have 5 volumes left?
we have 4 left. 4 volumes.
Oh, okay, great. Well then that splits perfectly.
Yeah, hopefully the last 4 end strong. So
It'll be great. It'll be controversial.
we'll see. We'll see how. What would be nice is if all 3 of us disagree. Like Alan
That
will
would be
definitely.
great.
Alan will hate
Yeah,
it.
he'll hate it.
I'll love
You'll
it.
love it.
And
And then
you
I'll be in the middle.
in the middle? Okay.
Yeah, I'll be a fence sitter.
Okay. Oh dear. All right. Well, there's Alan. Speak of the
I
devil.
think you guys think I hate things more than I
You
do.
literally declared that the ending would suck in this video. That's why we gave you the
We were just
negative.
giving you your chosen position.
I mean, well, probably. I mean, that's probably true. That's probably true. Like, what if it didn't? I can make this go forward. What if it didn't like end weird to where I didn't have to not
Well,
like
then
it?
I'll hate it. So.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And
If
Merphy
it
will
was
still be in the middle.
I'll continue to sit on that fence.
fence sitters, sad. Man, this was a fast one. It's over already. Like, we don't have anything else to say about this.
There's nothing to say. Yeah, we've said it.
Yeah, I
No.
think we've said it. I mean, I feel like, am I missing an important moment? No, not really.
What's going to happen is what's going to like. Here's going to be why it's a controversial ending. At the end, the knockers are going to appear and kill Bone, and it's going to turn out that the Rakugo Theater was really
The creators
No,
planned the whole time.
what is his name? What is the main character for that thing's name?
Fushi.
Fushi. It's really Fushi. Fushi. It was Fushi the whole time.
That makes sense. He created that with his little powers.
Yep. That's what's gonna happen.
Okay, I'm into it. That'll be an interesting
That's a
ending.
bold,
Heard it
bold
here. Called
prediction.
it here. Yep. Look, go big or go home. So
Well, we clearly can't predict this story, so might as well just say nonsense.
what is this show gonna do? What is it about?
We had really good predictions last time, so
We
the author
did.
should have just listened to
Our
us.
predictions sucked last time. We did not do well at all.
I
We
thought
did
our
not do a
predictions-
good job.
No, it's
I
not
said they
our
were
fault.
good, not accurate.
Oh
Right.
no, our predictions were awesome. Like, you should have gone with what we said.
I'm saying.
Why
The
didn't-
mangaka needs to take notes.
Why didn't Haruko Kumoto ask us? You know,
I'm
Look.
saying.
One focus group, and I am always on the focus group, and I can fix everything. I can make everything better. Like, just call me and I'll let you know. I'll be like, that sucks. That doesn't make any sense.
We
Do
are the
this
enlightened
instead.
bunch.
Do this instead.
my bold prediction is that it's going to get better again, and we're going to like it more than we liked this middle. This is the slog of descending stories, right?
Ugh.
So,
Yep. I'll agree with that.
okay. All right. Any final thoughts before we sign off on this discussion? Okay.
No.
We'll try to make the next one longer.
I was reading the episode description of the next episode, and I'm like,
We're gonna
No,
try and have-
Alan.
I always read the episode descriptions.
Really?
Yeah, it does. I mean, they don't generally, they spoil stuff sometimes,
They
but
spoil stuff.
not if I don't go ahead.
Okay.
Were you seeing if our predictions were accurate?
I was looking at I was looking at the next episode, Philip. I didn't write like if I knew what happened, I really wouldn't watch it. Like, and the only thing keeping me watching it now is watching with you guys and being like, all right, what's gonna happen now? What's gonna happen now? So that's yeah.
All
That's
right.
that.
Well, we will have a more lively discussion next time, I am sure. as things get controversial or not. We'll see. But
We
thank
will
you
see.
everybody for watching. The next discussion will be on Alan's channel, the Library of Alexandria. And then when we are done with this whole thing, we are going to have a live stream on Merphy Napier manga. So everybody get ready for that because we'll be discussing the entire thing, full spoilers, and having a blast, I'm sure.
We will have 3 opposing opinions. We'll be sure of it.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
Controversy all over the place. So. All right, everyone. Thank you very much. And until next time.